Hi, Professor Bob. I'm here for my 4 o'clock appointment. Remember, you were going to explain to me how the European Union functions.
Ah, yes, so I was. Come in, James, and please take a seat. So, what is it you want to know?
Well, I want to understand what is the European Union exactly. I mean, is it a country or is it just another international organization?
It's a bit of both, I guess. It's certainly more than an international organisation, and yet the European Union is certainly not a country. Yes, it has a flag, an anthem of sorts, and its own currency, and so it has many of the attributes of a country.
But that's my point exactly. In reality, it's just like a country.
Yes, but the majority of European citizens continue to think of themselves in national terms. Moreover, the Union does not have any tax-raising powers of its own. The money that it spends is given to it by the member states. However, although EU law takes precedence over national law, the scope of EU law is limited, and so many areas are still governed by way of national legislation, for example tax policy. Finally, the European Union does not have its own foreign policy and does not have the power to declare war. Rather, it seeks to coordinate the independent foreign policy of each of its 28 member states, and believe me, it's not easy.
Why?
Because different member states have different priorities. The United Kingdom claims to have a special relationship with the United States, whilst France and Germany certainly don't. The interests of the Baltic republics are obviously very different to the concerns of the Greeks.
Is there a European army?
Not yet, but the French, British and Germans are beginning to pool their resources a little, and over time you can expect to see the development of a European army of some kind. However, member states such as Sweden and Ireland, which are traditionally neutral, will probably not want to participate in any such developments.
So it is possible for a member state to choose the European Union projects it wishes to participate in?
In principle, no, but certain member states have negotiated opt-outs for certain activities, such as the Euro or the Schengen Agreement. Normally, this is not allowed, but sometimes, because of a member state's special circumstances, an exception may be made. When this occurs, the situation is referred to as a two-speed Europe.
Oh, okay. And is the intention of the European Union to become a unified state?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. Some member states have not hidden their desire for ever closer union. States, such as France and Germany, are committed to some form of European Union, I believe. However, other states, such as the United Kingdom or Denmark, are more Eurosceptic and probably want to see a union of nation states where national governments retain sovereignty.
Are you a Eurosceptic?
I wouldn't say that I'm a Eurosceptic, but I don't believe in union just for the sake of it. Obviously, European countries need to group together if they are to influence events in the world and survive economically. However, there probably are also benefits for each of the states retaining some independence. Certainly, there should be no union unless national voters are committed to the programme.
So what will happen here in the United Kingdom?
I think that United Kingdom citizens will continue to think of themselves as separate from other Europeans and will probably continue to look towards the United States. Culturally and linguistically, the two countries are natural allies. However, I also believe that over time the differences between the United Kingdom on social and economic questions, which are already present, may become greater. If this occurs, the United Kingdom may have no choice but to throw its lot in with Europe.
Can you tell me, what does the European Union do?
Oh, it does an awful lot. I couldn't begin to explain all that it does. Well, for example, it has established the largest trading bloc in the world made up of 28 different member states. Consequently, a UK firm producing goods in Scotland can market and sell those goods in any one of the other member states without the imposition of any charges or customs duties. There's a common transport policy promoting the creation of high-speed traffic links between each of the member states. The Schengen area has been created, allowing for free movement of people throughout most of the member states. Legislation has been harmonised in many areas, ensuring better protection for employees, the environment, children, etc., etc. In fact, the list is nearly endless.
So the European Union is a good thing.
Yes, it probably is.
Why is it that people do not like it?
It's not necessarily a question of good and bad. A lot of it has to do with people's preference. Europe's past history is founded upon patriotism and centuries of nationalist propaganda. Thus it's natural that some people retain a patriotic stance. Moreover, there are the recurrent fears of big government and big business hijacking the integration process.
Are not people justified in being afraid that big business and big government will take over the world?
But James, maybe they already have.
And do you not think that as time passes, people will probably become more European in their thinking, in the way that they see themselves?
Yes, probably, and as they begin to cooperate, they'll begin to see that their supposed enemies were not their enemies at all. For example, it's now difficult to imagine the French and Germans going to war. Yet prior to the creation of the European Union, they were constantly at war, and worse, dragged the rest of the world into their disputes. Perhaps the biggest success of the European Union is the relative peace it has brought to Western Europe.
Thanks, Professor Bob. You've cleared up a lot of issues for me.
My pleasure, James. Don't forget to shut the door on the way out.